Well, hello, good afternoon, everybody. It is good to be with you for the Live at the Waterhole show. My name is Amy, and I will be with you for the show today. And yes, it looks like we're starting off with, I thought it was a pod of hippos, but these warthogs are channeling their inner hippos at the moment, it looks like. I don't think I've seen a warthog fly like a pod of hippos before, quite like this. This is amazing. Um, of course, remember that this is a live and interactive show, everyone. So please do make sure that you send through your comments and questions to me. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know who you are, where you're watching from, perhaps what you're hoping to see this afternoon. And as the show goes on, if you have any comments or questions, please do send them through. And you can do that on the Wild Earth app or the website. You can also chat to us in the chat stream, just on YouTube. Just remember to use @FC if you want those comments or questions to come directly to me. Or you can join the conversation on X using the hashtag WildEarth. Well, this is amazing. I'm loving them just laying here. It looks like quite a warm day as well in Vic Falls. And they are sunning themselves in the mud bath. One went to the shade on the right, but just have a look at how they are loving their life at the moment. Two helmeted guinea fowls coming through there now as well in front. Penelope, yes, thank you so much for saying hi. So good to have you watching with us today. And of course, happy Heritage Day, otherwise known as Braai Day in South Africa. I've taken out my boerewors this morning to cook it on the fire this evening for supper. So I'm sure many of the South Africans watching will have their braai planned. And of course, with it being a public holiday in South Africa today, I'm sure many viewers have had Wild Earth on in the background, or perhaps have chosen to enjoy the show with us this afternoon. I hope you have enjoyed your public holiday like these warthogs are enjoying theirs. Yes, indeed. To do is directing the show today, and I completely agree with the comment that she just made, that it's interesting to see these warthogs lying in one place. We do see them wallow, but we don't often see them just sit in one spot. More often than not, they quickly in for a quick wallow and then they're out again. Oh, those are pretty, looks like. Is it a nyalas? Is that a bushbuck and a nyala? Very well could be. Does look like a bushbuck, and then behind that bushbuck looked like an nyala. Interesting. Unless it's a mommy bushbuck and a baby bushbuck. Probably more likely that. But those extra stripes on the one in front are slightly more confusing. But I have seen bushbucks with stripes on them, not very prominent, but it can happen sometimes, the mixture of both. It does look like a mother and baby pair of bushbuck. But just to wrap up what I was saying about the warthogs, it is unusual to see them wallowing like that. Like I said, it looks like a pod of hippos when they lie out of the water on the bank. And they are enjoying the sunshine and the mud today. Usually they just run away so fast. So I couldn't believe they were warthogs when we first saw them. Oh, it looks like some of them are starting to stand up now. Well, a wonderful start here at Vic Falls. Let's head over to Ahina Pan and see what's happening over there. Oh wow, happy elephants arriving for some water. They looked very excited there, coming to get a drink. Well, these warthogs are back in the waterhole now, getting a little bit more mud from, looks like, the other side. Scratching around, making themselves a nice little wallow. Like a pig in mud, isn't that the saying? Hello, Donnie Crossgrove. You say good morning from Pennsylvania in USA. You say, now that the season has changed, when will the rains begin to fall? So we're looking at a little bit, it could be any time now. Really, the rains could come anytime now from now. But usually we expect them within October, and then definitely November, December, and January, February actually being the highest months of rainfall generally. So it'll be on and off within the next few months. We might get one big proper rain before the end of the year, but it's actually often the most rain of recent years has fallen in February, where we've had some serious damage with flooding and that sort of thing that's taken place. So any day now, Donnie, we'll see some rain falling. We have actually had some rainfall, just not a huge amount. So it is starting slowly but surely. They do look so happy, don't they? Really just loving life. The little one on the left is getting right up in there. And it's interesting to see the one on the right sort of using his snout, to move some of the mud out the way and get to a really comfy spot there. And there's a yellow-billed stork busy hunting, guinea fowl in the background. Oh, that warthog's found a good little rubbing post there for itself. Wow, really getting stuck in. And when we talk about rubbing posts, this is exactly what we're referring to. It's a place where animals of different sizes that enjoy mud wallowing go afterwards to rub against, just scratch and itch, maybe get rid of anything on their skin that they don't want there. And also a little bit of exfoliation. And I think it just feels good at the end of the day. Oh, beautiful. You can see these two bushbucks here now, walking right across in front of us. Both look like they are females. The male bushbuck does have horns. Very beautiful, I think, as well, but not something that we actually often see specifically on drive in Juma. We see a lot of inyalas. Oh wow, look at the marabou stork. They're just spreading his wings, maybe to cool down a little bit of airflow around the body. You can imagine with those massive wings, if they're next to the body the whole time, that can really trap in a lot of heat. Whereas if they're wanting to cool down, how nice must that feel? To just lift up those wings and get the cool breeze on the sides of their body. It also just gives you an idea for how massive that wingspan is. And that can be up to around 3 meters from left to right, which is huge. Could also be a little bit to just have a stretch or like get the feathers all straightened out as well. So that's often that sort of shadow behavior sometimes that we see in storks, like the yellow-billed stork, for example, would do that, but actually in the water when it's wanting to hunt. And then sometimes we see African darters or even cormorants sitting with their wings open because they dive under the water and need to dry those feathers out. Joanne, you're asking about how the little chicks are doing at Stony Point. I'm not exactly sure. The last time we went there, they were still doing well and they were following mom around. Okay, so an update. We are going to try and see if we can get an update for you, Jan, as soon as we can. That camera can be sorted out, and we can also just see if they are around. Then we'll let you know. Apparently, it is quite misty there as well today, so we'll let you know as soon as we have an update, Jan. Okay, let's head over to the Lowveld and see what's happening at Nkoro in the Sabi Sands. Oh wow, a whole herd of ellies as well as a hippo in the water. Hopefully these elephants don't get too cheeky and chase it out like we had at Rosie's pan. Was it last year or was it earlier this year? Everything's mixing into one. Well, how lovely to spend the time at Nkoro. And Lady Macbeth, you love this particular spot. You've been watching it for about 10 years. That's incredible. I'm sure you've seen some amazing things at this waterhole. Well, we might be back a little bit later, but for now, let's head over to Tembe for some birding. Oh, wow, this is beautiful. How gorgeous is this brown hooded kingfisher, everyone? Wow, what an incredible view we have as well. Okay, let's go to Juma for our little surprise. Well, there we go. I mean, the kingfisher was beautiful. Hopefully, it stays still, but you never know. And here we have a hyena that's come for a dip to cool down. It is quite warm today. It's already on the move. And hyenas often do this. We've seen it a few times in the water holes on this property where they'll come and sometimes they just lie there and have a full on spa day. But with it, it's warm, but it's not excessively hot. I think tomorrow, word, that tree has gotten so green. It feels like overnight. Sorry. Wow. Those trees are all of a sudden turning so green. Isn't that amazing? But yes, hyenas will often come and sit for a brief moment and then move on, just like that. You can see the saddle-billed storks are there still around the waterhole. And you can see the pops of green. Oh wow, elephants! Goodness me, it really is all happening today. Khalif, interesting question. You want to know if elephants need more water when it's dry. So, no, their bodies are still the same and they're the same throughout the year in terms of the amount of water that they need. What does change is the availability of water, but they still need the same, in fact, possibly even more in the summertime, which is actually the wet season in this particular location. So, because it's hotter, they might lose more water to evaporation or whatever bodily function potentially. And so they might actually find themselves needing more water when it's very hot in comparison to when it is in the dry months, when it's actually the cooler times of the year. You might find them not drinking so often, or at least not splashing themselves as much and that sort of thing. Oh, this little one is just adorable. So, Khalif, I would say it averages out to pretty much the same all year round. Although I'm sure that in the hotter months they do tend to drink more water, just I suppose like we do. Although they don't have sweat gland, they wouldn't be sweating. I mean, they do. I think around their toenails, where their sweat glands are, for the most part. So they retain a lot of that moisture, but they also lose a lot in their digestive processes. And so anyway, their body needs a certain amount of water to function. So no matter whether it's hot or cold or wet season, they'll still need the same amount of water for their bodies to work. And it just changes, for example, in the dry season, how much water is available. Sometimes they end up being forced to drink less water because there just isn't that much water available, especially in times of drought. All right, well, this was a fun little visit to Juma. Let's head back to Tembe to the kingfisher that is still posing beautifully for us. Kingfishers are some of my absolute favorite birds. They're so iconic and so beautiful, the different species that we find. This particular one that we're looking at, being the brown hooded, is here all year long. But very soon in the Lowveld area, we'll be hearing the woodland kingfishers arriving soon. And in fact, I think there have been one seen already somewhere, but they're not calling yet, because when they start calling, they stop all the way until April when they leave again. I know cuckoos have been seen. I think a red-chested cuckoo was recorded. Was it somewhere in the Western Cape recently already? So the migrants are slowly but surely coming back, which is it's always an exciting time of year. Looks a little bit breezy there at Tembe today. This kingfish is trying to keep its balance. Ah, there are a few elephants and some warthogs. So, proudly essay, I have my theory regarding yes, when a bird poops, it's about to take off. That is not true in every single case. Sometimes they just poop because they need to poop. I've seen them poop and not take off. But almost every time that I've seen a bird fly off, it has pooped before it's gone. And I actually did a bit of research on that because I was like, why is this happening? And has someone else noticed it? And it has definitely been noticed before by researchers. And the reason for that is because the whole thing about birds is that they need to be as light as possible in order to be able to fly as efficiently as possible. So they've got a whole bunch of unique adaptations to themselves as birds that make them lighter. For example, they don't have teeth, which is a very heavy thing. They've got a very efficient digestive system, as well as even their whole reproduction and excrement process is almost combined into one organ so that they don't have multiple systems going on. So it's all about efficiency and, having feathers instead of something like scales. Just their bones are hollow, which also helps them to be lighter. And also, pooping before you fly is leaving that weight behind. So that is why often, very, very, very often, 9 times out of 10, I would say, before a bird flies, it poops. Oh, that looks like an African jacana there walking. Well, this has been fantastic to do some birding here. And this jacana. Oh, there's some young jacanas. Those are some juveniles who actually look very much like the lesser jacana, and one has to be very careful to not misidentify them. But they're usually seen a little bit further north than South Africa. Very rare to see them here. So clearly the chicks and probably following around dad there with the male doing all the taking all the parental responsibilities. Looks like there's at least 3 of them. Let's head over to Founders where some rhinos have just arrived. Oh, yes, please. I was hoping we would see. Oh, there's a little one. Oh, no. Oh, is it a little one? Sorry, it looked like it was going to jump on Mom's back. It is a littler one, but not quite a baby. I got very excited there for a moment. Oh, wow, it's raining rhinos today. This is awesome. Oh my goodness. How amazing is this? Just love listening to the sounds as well. Yeah, old Punkster, I couldn't agree more. I think you read my mind there saying it's raining rhinos. This is just so cool to actually see these animals, which are gregarious. They enjoy each other's company, hanging out together, having a mud wallow, living their absolute best lives here at Mantis Founders Lodge. Wow, there was one of them was kicking up some mud there. And I think this particular part of the waterhole is their favorite. It's sort of where it's a bit shallower, nice and a bit of a wallow's been developed there. And they're sort of all trying to get into the same spot. Oh, that one of the left is having a bit of a rest, it looks like, with the chin on the ground. I do wonder what they're thinking sometimes. The one at the back is having a good rub against the tree. We saw them using that as their rubbing yesterday with a rhino that we had here, but it's just leaning against it now. I think this one in the middle has found a really comfortable place that it's just like, I'm here and I'm really comfortable and I don't want to move. Or its front legs are stuck and it just doesn't want to admit that it's stuck. Mindy, you said this is the largest group of them that you've seen here to date. I mean, same, absolutely. There's what, at least 6 here? 5 or 6? Really, really cool. I feel like they've each taken a turn to that really muddy section. This one I think might just sit down shortly. Well, Catherine, it's wonderful to have that information. Thank you for keeping track of the rhinos that we've seen here at Founders Lodge. And you say that the one that was in the water was a new one for your ID list, and the calf that we're seeing there is smaller than the other calf that we regularly see. So there's at least 7 rhinos that have come here, 5 here at the moment. So, I mean, it just goes to show that we have some regular visitors and at least 2 new rhinos that have been identified around this waterhole. So it's always exciting to have new rhinos that we can meet, but also to see their behavior like this is fantastic. the texture on these rhinos, just the mud on their horns, their bodies, the way that they drink is also so subtle. Their lips hardly moving. The one on the right, completely clean at this point. I don't think he's been into the water just yet. Does look like a bigger individual. I think that might be a male on the right hand side. Mindy, you've made an interesting comment about the fact that they're playing nice with each other and that you thought that they would be more aggressive. So rhinos by nature are not necessarily aggressive animals. They actually, like I mentioned in the beginning, enjoy each other's company. The times where you'll see any sort of aggressive behaviors, mainly two instances. The one is between males. Oh, what was that? I don't know if that is a rhino. It doesn't look like it's one of the ones we're looking at, though, maybe in the background or in the distance. Is two dominant males that basically one is not submitting to the other. Then you're going to see conflict. And Wild Earth actually had a video recently, I think it was from Velgevonden, of two rhino bulls battling it out, and it can be very, very serious, much similar to that of elephant bulls. They try and avoid fighting, but if there is a subordinate bull that doesn't want to be submissive anymore, we will see a clash. And then the other type of aggressive interaction that you would see is potentially between a mother of a calf or a female, basically, and being bothered by a male that she doesn't want to be bothered by. Maybe she's not ready to mate just yet. Maybe she's still got too young of a calf and doesn't want to fall pregnant again, or she's trying to protect that little one and is worried that the presence of a male might cause it injury or something like that, which is also a possibility. So in general, though, if we have rhinos just hanging out together and everyone's happy, then none of those situations are apparent or relative to the scenario, and they're quite happy to hang out and stay together without any aggressive behavior. Those are some very interesting noises. Fascinating. It's interesting, clouds in the background. It looks like rain is coming here, I must say. As we've been sitting here, it's getting darker and darker in the background there. Actually, such a beautiful scene that we're looking at with the colors and the rhinos here. I mean, this one by the rock is just beautiful with that dark sky in the background, and actually the sun still shining where this waterhole is. Shiv, you want to know if these are rhino, are a family group. It's difficult to say, Shiv. From what I can see, this looks like a young male, and then it looks like a big bull on the right hand side, on the other side of the waterhole. And I'm not sure about the one that just left. And I think there was maybe a mother and a little one, well, a female and a younger one that have moved off already. Um, Rhinos do sometimes hang out in completely unrelated groups, a mother, her current calf, maybe even a previous calf together. And sometimes young bulls might associate with each other as well. But they're not quite as structured as what you would see elephants, in terms of there's a breeding herd where females and their offspring hang together. But I've seen actually in the southern Sabi Sands, I saw a group of 11 rhinos together, which was incredible. And it was actually all females, except for, well, basically, I think there were 7 females, 3 calves, some of which were male, and then a big bull, who was sort of on the outside. And these rhinos had almost formed a straight line, almost a semicircle, facing towards this big rhino bull. And it was a fascinating interaction actually between them. And in the end, there was no aggressive behavior, but I definitely think that there's more to rhinos in understanding social structure and the interaction between them. And just because there are so few left, we're hoping that as anti-poaching efforts become stronger and we can get these rhino numbers increasing, more research can be done to actually understand their behavior and the way that they interact with each other, because there's often a lot about rhinos that I see, but I'm like, what's happening here? What's the actual dynamic? And I hope one day to understand rhinos, particularly white rhino, as well as I understand, or think I understand, elephants. I mean, there's always something more to learn. We can never say we've got them completely figured out, but there's some things that you can observe with rhinos that I still don't quite understand, but they seem to have quite a loose social structure for the most part. And that's why sometimes we get these, I guess, temporary associations forming between groups of white rhinos, and they're not necessarily family groups. Looks like a Cape wagtail that's arrived here. You can see that namesake of it wagging its tail constantly up and down. Oh, it looks like a rock pigeon, that. Is it a speckled pigeon? I'm not sure. Quite a large bird there. And came for a drink. Well, what a treat it's been here at Founders Waterhole. Oh my goodness. We have been treated with endless rhinos, it seems. And we're very, very grateful for the time we had with them. Wow. Absolute highlight of the afternoon. I think we are going to head back over to Vic Falls and see what's happening over there. Well, the piggy is still in the mud. There's two hooded vultures there just behind it, as well as a heron that's hunting, a crocodile that's on the move, and some marabou stalks in the foreground. All right, exciting. Let's head over to Juma. Oh, wow, it's the juvenile fish eagle, everyone. It's become a bit of a resident here around the dam, and it seems to have caught a fish. Let's see what happens. Sometimes it just waits a little bit for it to... Oh, there we go. It's dragging it. I can't get a good... Oh, it does look like a catfish. I was just wondering. Sort of got it in one claw and it's dragging it along the ground. This is fascinating. Sometimes what they do is actually try and eat a little bit of it before they go up and perch in a tree with it, if they find that necessary. Otherwise, they might stay on the ground the whole time. Well, we had a juvenile African fish eagle here catch a barbel, or catfish, sorry, and it sort of scampered behind the bush with this sort of massive fish in its right claw. We're just seeing if we can spot it again. It's probably started munching away, maybe somewhere. I'm not sure if it's flown up into the tree, if it was seen, or if it was still behind. But so cool to see. And that particular fish eagle, we've been seeing a juvenile hanging around this waterhole. So it was a massive catfish. It looked big. Well, I can hear a go-away bird calling in the background, and there was a question earlier regarding if grey go-away birds come down to the waterhole ever to drink, and they absolutely do. I've seen them multiple times coming down for a quick drink at the waterhole. So I think it was Geo, yes, asking if we get go-away birds drinking from the waterhole. And we most certainly do. All right, well, we'll see if that fish eagle pops out again with its ginormous fish. While we do that, let's head back over to Vic Falls. Well, something else that also eats catfish is a crocodile. In fact, that makes up most of their diet of what they eat. Now, yesterday we actually had a croc on the move out of the water here at Vic Falls. I wonder if it could be the same one. It does look very similar in size. I don't know where it's off to now. Perhaps thinking of coming out to do some sunbathing. Looks like some very sloshy mud there as well. GJ, you'd like to know if rhinos get into the water like hippos. I'm not sure if you're referring to the actual style of them entering the water. I don't see them running into the water like hippos, no, and I definitely don't see them in the water like hippos in terms of living in the water for the daytime most of the time and sort of swimming or being completely submerged all day. So they'll come for a mud wallow and they'll leave. Hippos don't mud wallow, they are submerged fully in water rather than covering themselves in mud. Obviously, if there is extreme conditions and there's only sort of muddy slush available, they'll use what they need to, or they will to do something to budget if available to them. So of hippos and rhinos, no, they're completely different in that way, with hippos being very much more reliant on the cover of water, being almost, we sometimes even refer to them as being amphibious in their lifestyle, that they spend most of their day in the water and then come out at night to feed. But they need that covering of the water because of their skin and things like that. Whereas a rhino is not using the water for that reason. They've got a lot of melanin and a very nice thick skin that can protect them. And the mud for them and water is to cool them down more than any. So we don't really see them swimming or, found in water with just their nostrils sticking out or anything like that. Big Chief Supercell, you actually ask a very, very fascinating question, which I want to unpack with regard to Bonk and Crocs live between the water and the land. So I believe they can live for up to 3 months plus minus without water. A long time, and that they are amphibious fish in terms of lungs. They breathe oxygen. They don't need to live in water in order to survive in terms of their body. This cock's moving a little bit again. Maybe it will come out the water completely. It looks very sloshy mud there where it is. Oh, all right. Let's head over to Kata where there's a giraffe. Well, I always love to spend time with giraffes, especially watching them feed like this. It's been a while since we spent some time with giraffes. We've had so much going on. Oh, here's another one. Hello, girl. So, Cliff, the way that I knew that these two were girls was that I saw their horns. Ossicones on top of their head were very fluffy and also quite thin. And then confirmation of that, there's no belly button there, penile sheath at all. So that is why I knew that these were ladies. Oh, wow. Giraffe walk by. So that's a really great view of a giraffe, isn't it? Amazing. And Khalif, now if you look at those horns on top of her head, you can see that they're quite skinny and also very fluffy on top. That lets us know it's a girl. If it was a boy, a male, they would be a lot thicker and also be bald on top, the horns. Oh, it looked like that girl was missing the tip of her tail there. Oh wow, look at her tongue. That is so impressive. Giraffes have tongues that are about 45 centimeters long. That is very long. And they can use that to feed with, basically, and be very particular about the bits of the tree that they take in. And obviously, using its neck together with its tongue, it's able to reach to places that no other animal here can. Well, mammal, should I say, maybe, because the birds, of course, can fly and land wherever they wish. But in terms of other big mammals like elephants or even black rhinos or things like that, that would browse, even kudus, they really can reach high and they can also reach quite deep into the tree as well. Okay, let's head over to King's Camp where there are some buffaloes. Well, here they are, some buffaloes resting around this waterhole. The one on the right looks like it has an octopus on its back, and these boys, it's a group of bulls that are just hanging out here, enjoying some cool water and a bit of sunshine. Well, Gio, you were asking about go-away birds earlier, and there was one actually drinking now, a short while ago. So maybe we'll see another one come down for some water. And these bulls will have formed what we refer to as a bachelor herd. Would be a term referenced quite a lot when groups of male animals hang out together. And you can see by this one's face that it's got a little bit of, it's almost like white eyeshadow, quite a big dewlap, which is that sort of hanging skin there, a bit of a, it looks like maybe a bit of a wound where that oxpecker is pecking, and just signs of all these little things that show that it's an older individual. Buffaloes live from anywhere plus minus 20 years out in the wild. Of course, with things like lions hunting them, that lifespan can be drastically reduced. But for the most part, these mature bulls sometimes leave the herd and hang out together to gather their strength, take a chance to be able to eat fresh grass rather than the trampled pieces that are sometimes left after lots of time spent in a mass of buffaloes. And when they're feeling strong and fit again, they'll actually rejoin the herd and then challenge other bulls for dominance to be able to mate with females. There does come a time where a bull is so old and quite maybe sick. Most of these buffaloes that we see here do have TB, bovine tuberculosis, and eventually that kicks in. And that's often when you have a lone bull completely on his own. You can just see that he's not well anymore. And that is that time where they do move off and basically are often hunted by lions. Oh, there's a terrapin on that log there as well, soaking up some sunshine. And some impalas very sheepishly moving past these buffaloes. I don't think the buffaloes will react to them. Um, they're not territorial animals or anything like that, but oh, it's balancing on its belly. But those impalas may just find them slightly intimidating. But when they see them not react, they probably will come for a drink. But look how it's balancing there on its front half of its body with its little feet in the air. Wow, that is some amazing sound effects. Incredible. Oh, there's a kudu moving in the background now as well. Well, let's head over back to Tembi. Apparently, another bird has joined that kingfisher. So apparently the bird has flown off. I believe it was a type of weaver. It might come back though. Might come back, especially if it's starting to. Oh, there we go. I saw a flash of yellow. I believe to do one now. And probably maybe thinking about starting to build a nest. I've already seen one weaver try and already starting a southernmost weaver starting to build its nest already. Can you believe? There's the weaver, just a little bit lower down now. There we go. They've landed in the tree there. We'll try and identify them very soon. Definitely one of the sort of there could be one of three basically. I'm just looking for an eye color there. Oh, so it is red, and that looks like a southern master weaver, definitely, with the black sort of connecting between the eyes, and the red eye that makes it a southern master weaver. But already they're in breeding plumage, so they are starting. There we go. Oh, I thought it brought a piece to start building its nest. That's amazing. That one looks like a village weaver. This one that we're looking at right now, you can see how the black doesn't connect between the eyes. It's yellow. So that was a village weaver that was just on screen, and then the southern mast above. But I do know that sometimes the village weavers have an alternative sort of almost entirely black head that they get. So, oh, it can be tricky when IDing these birds. Darren, you'd like to know where sociable weaver nests can be found. So they can be found much further west in South Africa, and also sort of the northern part of that western sector in the drier desert-like habitats. So the Kalahari Transfrontier Park is one of the famous places to find sociable weaver nests. Also in Swalu, which is a very famous private reserve in the Northern Cape of South Africa. So really in that Northern Cape province of South Africa is where we find sociable weaver nests. And there's that beautiful kingfisher again. There was actually a question earlier by, I think, Tidden regarding these birds. Yeah, Tiddenbach. If the brown hooded kingfish is an insect or fish eater. So actually, despite the name, they do eat majority insects, and I've seen them catching things like caterpillars and grasshoppers, locusts, bugs and beetles. So that's actually most of their diet. They can, of course, catch an aquatic animal if they so wish, but usually we find them more in the sort of woodland areas compared to around at waterholes like a pied kingfisher or a malachite that's quite strictly focused on catching fish. Well, we've lost that feed, everybody. We've come over here to Okakuyo, and it actually looks very quiet here in comparison to the variety that we've had throughout the show. We are coming to the last 5 minutes or so of today's Waterhole show, which has just been amazing variety. And I can't believe I can't even see a springbuck. Oh, there are some on the far side. Sorry, I can just see their reflection in the water. They're so well camouflaged. It does look quite overcast and grey here today, interestingly enough. All right, let's head over to Tembe. Oh, what a wonderful way to end off. Amazing show this afternoon. Lovely to see the sunshine in comparison to that scene in Namibia. I hope they get a little bit of rain. That would, I'm sure, be wonderful for everyone there. Well, as this Ellie is slowly moving off and probably making his way around to the other side of this waterhole, as they so often do, it does mean the end of our show this afternoon. And like I said, what an amazing show. It's been wonderful to have you all on board. We have seen elephants, we've seen rhinos, buffaloes, antelope, plenty of birding as well. So it's been a fantastic show on this Heritage Day today. Thank you all for joining me, and thank you for all of your comments and questions. It's been wonderful to chat with you all and hopefully be able to give you some info as we've gone along as well and enhance this experience and show for you. I will be back with you later in the week. Carrie will be with you tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to catching up with you then. But from myself and the team, for now, it's goodbye and have a good day or evening ahead.